Hi, my name is Sagan March, a Bossy reporter for the EVSE Community Link. I am here today at the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial located near Lincoln City, Indiana. The Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial is a great adventure that families all over southern Indiana will enjoy. My guide today will be Mr. Mike Capps, who is the chief interpreter of the park. We will be discussing Abraham Lincoln and his journeys throughout southern Indiana. The park is open 6 months out of the year, starting in mid-April and ending in mid-September. The state park was first opened in 1962. Now let's begin our tour. Hi, Mr. Capps.
Hello.
How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
Just wonderful. So you're chief interpreter of the park. So what are your roles or your responsibilities in the park?
Basically, I'm responsible for all of the visitor services here at the park. So the visitor center, where folks generally start their visit, come in for basic orientation, general information about the park, to the living historical farm, where most people end up going as part of their visit. I give guided tours. I'm responsible for the rest of the staff that does guided tours as well. We provide school programs, especially this time of year. We have a lot of school groups that come through. So really, anything having to do with visitor services here at the park is part of what I'm responsible for.
What is the Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial's purpose, and how does it affect southern Indiana?
The park exists because this was the area where Abraham Lincoln lived for 14 years of his life. We have a portion of his father's original farm within the park boundaries here. There are other features of the park that were developed early on by the state in an effort to commemorate or to preserve Nancy Hanks Lincoln's gravesite, that of his mother, and to preserve areas like the cabin site memorial. And what we do here is we basically tell the story of Lincoln's time here in Indiana and how that formative period in his life affected the development of his personality and his character. This is the primary site in Indiana associated with Lincoln. We also happen to be the first national park in Indiana. The park was established here in 1962. And so it's a key part of the Lincoln story. He was born in Kentucky, of course, moved here at the age of 7, lived here until he was 21, at which time he moved on to Illinois. It tends to be the lesser-known chapter in his life. There is not as much documentation and evidence of this time period in his life, so that's a bit of a challenge for us, but it's really a pretty key part of the story because many of the things that we are familiar with from his later life really kind of have their origins in this time. Lincoln did not have the beard until 1860. He began to grow the beard when he was running for election, running for president. See, there had been some photographs taken of him without the beard, but I mean, in that day and age, it wasn't as easy to get photographs of people as it is now. And so a lot of times, photographs that were taken were used over and over again by different publications and newspapers and stuff. But once he began to grow the beard, they didn't have any new photographs of him with the beard, so they just took the old photographs and they added the beard.
So when is the best time to visit the park?
Spring and summer is our typical peak visitation period. We only staff the farm through the spring and the summer, so that's what draws a lot of people here in the first place. The park is open year-round, however. The visitor center is open every day except Christmas, Thanksgiving, and New Year's. We're here, so people can still come in and see the exhibits, watch the movie, walk the park grounds, that kind of thing.
So you do guided tours for all different type of people in southern Indiana and also from Kentucky, Illinois, or wherever they may come from. Do you let the visitors explore on their own, or is it strictly guided tours? No,
it's largely self-guided. Okay. We staff the information desk and we give people an orientation to the park when they get here. But from that point on, primarily they're on their own to explore the park however they would like to do. Now, during the summertime, we will try to offer guided programs and guided tours at specific times of the day That schedule varies a lot of times depending upon staffing and other factors. But primarily, most people explore the park on their own. They'll look around through the visitor center here, and then they'll walk up the trail and go on up to the farm, and just kind of, do it at their pace and whatever aspects of it most interest to them. So what we've done is we've recreated what we think is a relatively period correct farm with a cabin and associated outbuildings as a means of talking about the frontier experience that Lincoln lived through, and how that experience, what part that played in the development of his personality and his character and that sort of thing. The Living History Farm is then a tool that we can use to talk about that frontier experience in a more tangible, kind of a three-dimensional type way for folks to see, some of the typical kinds of chores that would have gone on during the day, to get an idea of what kinds of crops Thomas Lincoln would have been growing, just to get a better feel for what life would have been like, and then hopefully gain a better understanding of how that experience shaped Lincoln himself.
If you could describe the park in one word, what word would you describe it as?
I would think unique would be the word, for a couple of different reasons. Primarily because it does represent this lesser-known chapter of Lincoln's life. But then there are a lot of aspects of it that are somewhat unique. The memorial building with the sculptured panels and the various things that have been done here. You're not going to find this kind of stuff anywhere else. So it's a lot of people, when they come here, are genuinely surprised to find, first of all, that Lincoln had been in Indiana, but secondly, that there is this park and that there are these facilities here to commemorate that fact that he lived here.
The Lincoln Boyhood National Memorial is a great adventure that families all over southern Indiana will enjoy. Reporting for the EVSE Community Link, I am Sagan March.